Exactly. They'll be above the bad weather in no time. Just got to make sure the wind doesn't blow it into the tower, that's all. Alrighty, let's see. This says an hour till they launch. Okay. But it's only like 15 minutes before their coverage starts, so we'll figure it out. I'm chilling up in Lake Placid, KLKP, home base. Gonna go just tool around up in the mountains. Not on live weather. It's pretty crappy here, actually. It's just choppy, cloudy. Without flaps off before the main runway even starts.
Lebanon Airport information whiskey.
Oh, we're not doing that shit. Lebanon Airport. Lebanon Airport's not even fucking near here. Oops.
Visibility,
I don't know why it goes to Lebanon. We've never had Lebanon Airport here ever.
Temperature 11. Dew point 13. Altimeter 3006.
You spill my coffee, I'll kick your ass.
Landing and departing runway 7. DFR aircraft say direction of flight.
The fuck is that one? I don't remember that one.
Hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have whiskey.
What? Give me the fucking...
Lebanon Airport.
Shut up. Hey, there's the Colonel Indiana Longnuts back there. That glitch is still in 2020. If you fly right over here, 2020, the whole fucking world goes topsy-turvy. It's really weird. Still there. I am using a mod, by the way. Got KLKP. He did this, did this, which I don't think those are blue, but that's okay. It's got the Olympic torch. That's what that is. From 1980. That's all that's left of it, by the way. It's right there. Real life, that's it. Then we go over to Lake Clear. I don't go over there very often. Go over that way. Usually we go up over Whiteface. We're going to go out over this way. Or my old house right there. Grew up right there. Now get your ass down. Sarah. I fucking worse than my dad calling me everything but Sadie. Oh, afraid the weather's just gonna fucking sink them tonight. It's gonna suck if it does. Follow the train tracks over. So they're probably not train tracks anymore. They've all been ripped up for a fucking rail trail. These train tracks go right across in front of the airport in Lake Clear. Good friend that lives over in Lake Clear's got a big lawsuit against them because when they took the land for the rail back in World War One, World War Two, World War One, I think it was, to bring supplies in and out, they never compensated the owners. So if they want it back, they have to claim eminent domain and pay him for it. And he has lakefront property in Lake Clear. So he's like, no, a couple hundred people are all in the lawsuit there. The train cut across their property. They tore up the track, so it's no longer a train. So you want it for something else. You got to give us what it's worth, because they were never compensated for it. So we'll see how that shakes out. They said it'll be probably 4 or 5 years. Go by the federal prison. There's a state prison over here and a federal prison over here. That's why somebody was like, my God, there's a lot of registered sex offenders in Raybrook, New York. Yeah, they're all in the prison. They still show up on the registry as being in town. Uh-oh, losing it here in the trees. Right here. It goes right by the entrance to the federal prison. Yeah, there's the road. There's the federal prison. State prison on this side. Federal prison on this side. Big federal prison over there. Or state here. Sorry, a second state here and a federal there. You got state, 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 and federal. That's federal. These are state. Now I gotta find the train tracks again. Over here somewhere. Yep, there they are. Where'd Longnuts go? I don't know. Lost him. Oh, there he is. Playing in the water. She's mad at me because I will not let her up on the feet up on the desk, and I'm playing Flight Simulator, so she's being very frustrated that every time her feet go up there, I put her back down. She's getting very mad. Oh, fucking well. We're done with that shit. Get up and hug me all you want. You got in big trouble today, and we're not happy. You know, not happy with the Sadie today. There's the college. Parts of the college. The college is funny. The college signed their land over because they were all in favor of the rail trail, so they signed theirs over. Nope, no issues. We'll sign it over to the rail trail. They ripped up the train tracks, which was stupid because they had a business that was going in and out of there making big bucks. They had a excursion train that was doing really well, and then they had the bicycles where you could ride your bike back and forth. Rail bikes that was going in between the excursion train, and they were making it. Both companies making good money. They put both companies out of business to put in a fucking trail in a town that's got 1 million trails. Made a lot of sense. Or the college girls? Yeah, unfortunately. They're not right here. Is that the train trestle? It should be. Doesn't look it. The Sim looks like it's got it all wrong, but it's right. How are we doing on time for... Oh, time went up to 1 hour and 3 minutes before it launches. Did they change their... 6:43... 6:58 for their coverage now. So they've delayed it. I figured the weather's shit. They're probably going to delay until they have to make the call to either cancel or cancel altogether. Because I can't imagine them filling that thing up with fuel knowing full well they're going to have to pump all the fuel out. Yeah, Long Rock's just moving. Got the power on now. We'll go to Lake Clear and then we'll head on over to... That's what I can look at. Oops, just paused over there. Get off the table. No. N73091. That's got to be a real one. Over here. No. I have a mod for this one too. Part of this airport. Guy, the same guy that did Lake Placid did this one. Hello, Mighty. How are you this fine evening? Where are you flying to tonight? Because you're always flying somewhere. I get ready to tear this down. Main base, or the main airport terminal, and build a new one. There's the actual Lake Clear. KOTH to... that means nothing to me. I was just wondering what the names of the places were. I'm not looking them up. You'll fly. Yeah, my old boss got a house over here. Over here, on the water. But the train tracks go between his house and the water. There's the train tracks, by the way. So yeah, they ripped the tracks up, so he wants his money back for his waterfront property. I don't blame him. You want it? Pay for it. It's standing and clear coating custom stairs. Pay for a client in a shop, and that's clear coating. Still doing getting a good buzz on. All that clear coat, some stain. This is the fish hatchery right here. And if you come up this road, there's free campsites on this lake right here. Right on the water. There's 7 of them. Goes up like this. Yep, lightheaded and stomach's been turning. In with the respirator, yep. The little road, there's a little back dirt road that goes up here. Up to this lake all along here, and there's another one that goes over to this lake, Rat Lake. There's one campsite on that lake. I can't ever find this entrance. I've driven by it a dozen times. I can't find it. It's here. I know where it's at, but I drive by it. I can't find the fucking thing. Supposed to be at the one campsite there, but Redding Regional, airport in California from Southwest Oregon Regional. Cool. That sounds like a nice flight. Turn south here. That golf course, way out in the middle of nowhere. It is busy as fuck all year long. It's Cernak something. Cernak Inn. That's it. Look, there's a capsized boat down there. Probably just a sail, but it looks capsized from here. This Fish Creek campsite over here is like a 500 site campsite. 400 and something. Almost 500 site campsite. So it's like the people from the city come up here to go camping in a city. There's so many fucking people at that campsite. There's so many boats on the lake, it's fucking crazy. They push it back even farther. Tim Dodd's coverages. I'm watching Tim Dodd on the corner of my eye here, so I could see when they change their. Take a look, refresh, and see if we still got a start. Oh, 7:13 now. Yeah, they're pushing it back. I think they're hoping the weather moves out of the way or whatever. I don't think it's going to go today, and if it doesn't go tomorrow, I won't be here to watch it go. I'll be on the road, be at the track. Maybe I could try to live stream from my phone and watch it on my tablet. I'll bring my Starlink. Let's charge my battery pack up. Depends on where if I can park at the one spot at Lime Rock, I'll have power. Just don't tell anybody I know where the power is. You can go forever on these lakes, the lake chains up here, because there's a 100-mile canoe classic. They go 100 miles. The guy started up the blender. He's going to be there, but the blender probably won't be there. We're actually working this one so that we don't bring that giant setup. With the blender and the TVs and all that shit. We don't bring that. When we're working, we usually bring a 10 by 20 pop-up, and that's usually over a car. My bearings. I know which lake I'm on, but I'm trying to think of where the hell I'm actually at. Well, I'm not over by Alaska, thank you. Okay, so I thought Long Lake's where I'm headed, so it's just south off of here. What time did that say? 7:15, 7:13? If they don't scrub. Problem with trying to do anything in the fucking Florida or Texas in the summertime, it's going to be bad weather. Oh, that's enough. I told you, fucking get into shit. You're going to get back down. There. Yep, you got into something, you got back down. You're going to learn. Oh, shit. You'll never learn, will you? You'll never learn. You're too dumb. Your head's the size of, your brain's the size of a walnut. You'll never learn. In trouble. I have no idea why at my parents' house, if she gets away for a sec, she had just gone out and gone to the bathroom. and pooped. And she got into my parents' house for a half a second, ran upstairs before we got the gate up, and ran up there and shit next to my dad's bed. My mom and dad's bed. Fucking does it every time. If you take your eyes off her for a second, she runs up by their bed and leaves a little turd. Like these were little tiny turds she had to squeeze out. She got her ass kicked, literally. Booted right in the ass. Then I wouldn't pet her for 20 minutes. That really pissed her off. So I can't tell if they're fueling or venting. I don't know what all that shit, what's what on those rockets. Yeah, leaving a present. Or quit leaving presents. You know, they said at one time when these are some of the oldest mountains in the world, if not the oldest mountains in the world, that at one time they were upwards of 30,000 feet. That's bigger than the Himalayas. That's bigger, higher than Everest, which is 29. They would have been higher. That's bonkers to think of that shit. Why don't you go play? Hear your mother calling. What the hell? Oh, no, never mind. Nothing. Old swamp. There's a lot of big old swamps around here. Well, the moose are starting to come back, but they're dying off too. Yeah, I got that 1 hour and 5 minutes, but what's the coverage start time? 7:13 still? Yeah. SpaceX is still 7:13. Oops. I feel bad for Tim Dodd when they canceled that Deer Moon after he spent all that time training and all that shit. Then the guy pulled out with the money. I mean, it still would have been training for another year and a half or 2 years, but still. He put so much time and effort into that shit, and then have the guy pull the rug out from underneath it. Ah, there's the lake over there. Let's get the long lake. We'll turn and we'll go see if we can find the house where my dad was born. We got time to kill. Should be able to get there before they start. We still got to finish packing, and you got to go back to my parents' house for 3 days, 4 days, whatever. I'm not staying till Monday. I decided that I'm gonna come back Sunday. I don't make enough money to stay till Monday anyways. No, cut it out. Just pick the pace up a bit. Oh, Long Lake. I wonder why they call it Long Lake, huh? A long fucking lake, that's why. Really pissed off. IMSA's not coming back to Lime Rock next year. Saw the new schedule already. The way the races and IMSA leaked me the new schedule, and then, of course, it comes out on the internet like 4 hours later. It's like, oh, thanks for getting it to me early. But that sucks. NASCAR's coming back. I'm not happy about that, but it's where the money is. Good for the track. I'm very disappointed with NASCAR and how they ran things and how they raced. It was just boring as fuck. And having to go through all this sketchy shit with they want to search my car and bomb sniffing dogs and didn't like the size of my cooler, and you can go fuck off. You can't bring a knife over a certain size. Well, I brought a fucking hatchet. How about that? Go piss off. I had my big knife for my big fillet knife and my camping stuff. It's like, I'm not taking that shit out for NASCAR. You can kiss my ass. No wonder NASCAR stands are empty. No rebel flags. I love that. Specifically, no rebel flags. Makes me want to go get one, smuggle it in, and hang it on the fucking fence right by the camera. I'm not grumpy, am I? Oh, that weather. Tim's Dodge looking at his thing, and the weather looks like shit. Looks like it's getting worse, not better. I'm getting these funky lines like DLSS. I don't know why. Less than an hour now, right? He got 50 some minutes on his, 59 minutes. They had to replace a hose up on the fucking tower there that feeds the... Hey, there's Miss TPHI.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Oh, there's a helicopter. Hi, Mrs. TPHI. How are you this fine evening? The second story umbilical had to... Ah, here's the road. Here's the road. Here's Long Lake. It's the airport, the marina. Somebody really needs to put some little fucking airplanes there. A couple float planes at the marina. Just having some dinner. Cool. We're just waiting for SpaceX to pick up their feed. We're going to try to get over and see where my dad was born before then. See if we can land on the main road and taxi over to his house. I love flying like just before sundown. Get some cool shadows and the lighting is incredible. It's pretty country up here. I love driving here every year. I go camping down this way a lot. There's a shitload of free sites. That's a cemetery over there. Looks like I haven't scrubbed it yet. It's still counting down. On Tim Dodd's. I highly recommend if you want good coverage. Tim Dodd's got all 4K, top of the line fucking cameras zoomed in all over the place. And he does a good job of keeping it, doing what he set out to do and keeping the language as close to understandable as possible. Taking all the gobbledygook speak and putting it into English. If you want to watch coverage, he's probably the best one. NASA Space Flight is good too, but they just make up a lot of words and do a lot of stupid shit that just annoys me, so I've stopped watching them. But their videos are good. The cameras they have are really good, but a couple of the guys just crazy conjecture. Make shit up. A lot of activity, but I don't know if they're doing prop load yet or not. That's what it's going to be like seeing two of those fucking towers loaded, ready to go. Launch is just days apart. That's going to be nuts. I don't know how the fuck they're ever going to get enough liquid methane and liquid oxygen to fucking fly the cadence they want to fly. To fly as often as they want to fly, because it takes like 20 some fucking trucks per, or more than 20 trucks per launch. It's fucking crazy. That's Lake Harris. So downtown's gonna be up here ways. Not that there's anything that's really downtown. Look at how the quality of the camera she has. Because even the SpaceX feed is only fucking 1080 now. They still aren't doing 4K on their feed. My dad and I flew from Long Lake to this lake, to Lake Harris. And my mom drove, and she beat us. But she says she insists she doesn't drive fast. That cemetery there, one of my great-grandparents is buried there. My grandparents are buried over in the other cemetery at the other end of town. I gotta think of where I'm at. Right? No. Yes, no. Yeah, that's where I got to turn around. Got to turn around. Alright. You'll find the house my dad was born in. Back there. Oop! Bonk. So easy to do with this plane. Hey, Viz. Yeah. What you doing, Sadie? Nobody's getting out of the plane. Stop shaking and getting excited. Stop it, dog. Damn it. Sit your ass down. No. Had enough of that. I told you. Not playing that no more. Oh, that was weird. Trying to get that road up there. This one. Oh, that didn't go well. This is the road I want. There's the house. Still not going to show me what I want to see. Oh well. That house right there. That's the one my dad was bored in. Whoa, shit. No, that one right there. Second house in on the right. That one. That's where my dad was born in. None of these were here at the time. How we looking on the stream here? Have they canceled it yet? Oh, 1 minute. We'll go over here and park behind the school. Maybe. There's a beautiful little pond up behind the school here. And then some guy bought all the land from the school and fucking built 2 big mansions on it. And the school doesn't have it anymore. The school is stupid. Should never sold it. But they did. So the kids can't go up there anymore. They used to be able to walk up behind it to this little pond up here. It's going to show on here, but yeah, it's right. Little pond right in here. There it is, right there. School owned this little pond. They owned everything around it, and then some guy come in. There it is. That was all owned by the school. They sold it, and some guy put a fucking big old mansion on one side, and another house is now on this side. And the kids aren't allowed to use it no more. That was nice, huh? They had boats and everything there. Let's see if we got any SpaceX coverage. Refresh. Oh, we got SpaceX. We're going to go ahead and turn their music off because I get copyright strikes on their fucking music. Over here. There, nobody got out of their plane, so you can't fucking sit and cry at them. So there. What are you going to do about that? Hmm? Oh, there's a lot of activity around there. No. Guess who put their nose on the fucking screen, on the touch screen? I wonder who that was. Well, SpaceX, what are you doing? I'm going to see if we're going to get Kate or not. Probably not. I hope we get Kate. She didn't do the last one. It's like there's a lot of tank farm activity and shit going on, but... Oh, here we go. Oh, gotta watch their music. Look at that. Holy shit balls. I love that. The Tesla Cybertruck pulling a fucking one engine. It's like, oh, that's cool. I remember back in the 70s when or the early 80s when that fucking Chevy truck was towing the 747 down the runway. It's like, yeah. The Cybertruck pulled one engine. Fucking Chevy truck pulled the whole fucking 747. So they're going to splash this down. They're not going to catch it tonight. But they're going to try some really wild shit like shutting an engine off and stuff. And hopefully we'll get to see that this time. And not it's flipping through the atmosphere. We'll actually see it re-enter properly.
Hello everybody and welcome to Starbase, Texas, or what we like to call here at SpaceX, the gateway to Mars. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications.
Dan, where's Kate?
Once again from inside of Star Factory. This time pretty cool, just off to my right there, our new Mission Control Center. Engineers are on console, monitoring all the vehicle, the systems, as we are counting down right now to lift off of the 10th Starship flight test. As you look at the rocket, you can tell prop load is underway. Our T0 right now is set for 6:59 p.m. Central Time. We've been dodging around some weather that is currently the biggest threat to a launch today, as we're at about 70% probability of violation to liftoff. So we're looking at
Jesus.
those routes closely, but not tracking any technical issues on the vehicle.
70%. Why would you even load it?
Particularly with the ship, going to look pretty similar to the last flights, the last several launches. We're planning to deploy Starlink simulator satellites and fly a whole range of experiments during Starship's re-entry.
70% chance of it
Trying to
not
test the
launching.
limits
That's
of
not
its
good.
heat shield, the flaps, learn as much as possible as we build towards a fully reusable heat shield. We're looking to do a controlled descent, targeted soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean, so hopefully seeing Starship on the other side of the planet today. Regardless of the outcome, the goal is to collect as much data as humanly possible. That'll get us all the bit. We're just getting closer and closer to a fully operational Starship.
No Kate. I'm done. Gonna sit here for the next 40 minutes to watch it get scrubbed because of the weather. And no Kate.
Well, and I just gonna end this live cast.
All right, so
add a little flavor.
yeah, right now we're counting down, but we're about to launch the largest flying object ever made. But this isn't on the radar for everybody, and we know that. So we want to kind of take a beat, pull back, do a little bit of Starship 101.
No.
To do that, I've got some special guest crafts in the webcast today. Joining me now,
Elon!
Elon Musk, Chief Engineer at SpaceX. Bill Riley, our VP of Starship Engineering. Thanks for being here, guys. I know we got a rocket about to get off the bat, but let's start people off like high level. Like, why are we here? What the hell are we doing here?
Well, I don't know about everybody, but I'm here to try to build into the future that
That helicopter ripping by there close. He surprised everybody.
People are out among the
Coast
stars
Guard
boring
giving a
music.
flyby.
Yeah. So the why. It's always important to explain the why of things, and the why of Starship is that we want to be a multi-planet species to extend consciousness beyond Earth. I think for two main reasons. One is to ensure the long-term survival and prosperity of life as we know it in consciousness, which if we are a multi-planet species and ultimately a multi-stellar species out there among the stars, the probability of survival is much, much longer. That's kind of the, defensive aspect or life insurance for life collectively. But then there also need to be things that are inspiring and exciting.
I'll keep Tim Dodds
and
on
that
just so I can see
give
his
you reason
coverage.
to live. Life
They must be on Sim Up 8.3 as well. See the odd stuttering.
There must be also
The fucking
reasons
Coast
to
Guard
get
helicopter
everyone
was
to be
close, though.
excited about the future. And a future where we are a space-faring civilization is infinitely more exciting than one where we are not.
And we're doing it all pretty unique location. I mean, the pad's behind us. We got rocket on the tower. We got another tower with it. We're sitting inside Star Factory, and I mean, it wasn't like this for very long. This is all pretty brand new.
Yeah, I think we moved Starship here in about the early part of 2019, so we've been coming that entire time and seeing the site evolve from a double-wide trailer and a tent where we built Starhopper to the first suborbital test flights, and now we have behind us two towers for the first time.
No.
As we build towards the first operational flight from the second tower at the end of this year, and this beautiful building, 1 million square feet, where we're able to work towards a production line of Starships.
Yeah, the SpaceX team has done an incredible job of building out really the most advanced rocket manufacturing facility that has ever existed. This is far beyond any rocket fabrication facility
Really
that has
beautiful.
ever
Holy shit.
been built. This is essentially alien level technology, and it was all built here, basically down by the Rio Grande River and close to the beach. It's an incredibly improbable location, and this used to be a sandbar. I think we're about 3 feet or about 1 meter above sea level. It really was nothing. If you see the time lapse from sandbar to two launch towers and a gigantic rocket factory with high bays, and we're going to be building something called the Gigabay, which is like one of the largest enclosed volumes on Earth. So it's sort of like a gigantic Borg cube that we're going to be building here for building and storing these gigantic rockets. It's really spectacular, and anyone can come and visit. So because we're on a public highway and we're literally by a public beach, you can actually come and see the rocket. You quite close up. I mean, you can drive past it.
And seeing how
And,
close you
and
get.
can also look at the factory, and anyone can do this from anywhere in the world. So you can come and visit and check it out. So I think it's pretty cool that it's
Just not right now.
Just not right.
Just not right
Obviously
now.
not when we're launching because there's some safety issues, but the rocket's often just sitting on the pad without any propellant in it, and then you can just come here and visit. It's very easy.
Yeah, I think it's a really special place. Yesterday, the ship went down the road behind us, and I saw families
Paid
outside
overtime?
going for their, or was on Sunday,
So they're
going for their
getting
Sunday stroll.
pink slips.
And they were greeted by Starship going down. And I think that from the very beginning, the thing about Starship, different than Falcon and other rockets that I'm aware of, is we designed it to be mass-produced and mass-produced at scale. And it's not about building one Starship and getting to orbit once. It's about doing it in a sustained and rapid way.
Yeah, we're aiming for ultimately thousands of ships to be built per year, which is what's needed
That's
in order
bonkers.
to
Think of building
construct
thousands.
a city on Mars that is self-sustaining. And the major fork in the road of destiny will be when the Mars city is capable of surviving, even if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason. And that reason could be something cataclysmic, or it could be that civilization simply subsided. There's always this debate throughout history of will civilization end with a bang or a whimper. But either way, if the critical thing is to get to the point where Mars is self-sustaining and can survive even if the resupply ships stop coming for any reason, which means that you need to build an entire base of industry on Mars in order for Mars to survive. For example, it's not simply enough to build a chip, like a computer chip factory, but you need the ability to build computer chip factories. So this is going to really take a lot of tonnage. I mean, my guess is at least 1 million tons to the surface of Mars, and maybe it takes less than that, but it's going to be a lot. But this is a very exciting future. It's one which will ensure the long-term.
Funny you look that none of that steam is by the rocket right now. It's all
and it's the critical stepping stone to get from this solar system to other star systems, and perhaps go out there and explore, and perhaps we'll encounter alien civilizations that maybe they're alive now, or maybe they enjoyed a period of prosperity for millions of years, but also died out millions of years ago. So it's humbling to think of the age of the universe, according to the standard model of physics, being approximately 13.8 billion years old. So an incremental million years would be 3 digits past the decimal point. And if you look at, say, our civilization and measure our civilization by the first evidence of writing, which is about 5,500 years ago, civilization as measured from the first writing is only 1/1,000,000th of Earth's existence.
Or blip.
Yeah. Flash in the pan so far.
Well, we're getting some cool shots. Rocket out on the pad right now. We tell people, like, come down, see it. It's hard to get, like, a sense of scale of just how
yeah.
massive this
It's
thing is.
so big.
And we were able to catch somebody working on it a little while ago. And, like, part of the reason you said we're sending millions of tons, that's kind of why this
When
thing
I
is
think
so
in this
massive.
image, Dan, you can actually see the person working at the bottom of the ship, and as we zoom out, you see the full ship, that sort of two-tone silver and black.
That's
and then the
fucking
booster
crazy.
below it, right? And it really
That's what she said.
sets the scale, which doesn't come across, I think, other than in person. And when I do tours, I like to say Starship is real, Starship is big, and Starship is really big. And I think you can see there, and with the factory shots you saw earlier, again, we got Flight 10 on the pad, but we got many more behind it.
Yeah, so I posted a video yesterday of just a brief scan of part of the Starship factory, and you can get a sense of the scale of the factory. Yeah, I guess we can talk
So
about
another one's sitting there ready to go.
why Starship is the way it is. Like, for example, why is half of the ship black and half of it is silver colored? And that's because the bottom half of the ship, the bottom as seen from orbital entry, has a heat shield on it. So the black there is the heat shield, and then the core structure of the rocket is a special alloy of stainless steel, and that's where you see the sort of shiny silver parts are stainless steel. The reason for steel over aluminum is that the heat of of atmospheric entry and the heat of the rocket engines is enough to easily melt aluminum, but steel is much more resilient against both ascent heating, but especially the re-entry heating. And you don't have to paint it, which is actually very difficult to paint a large object that is going through cryogenic cycles and have the paint stay on. It's quite challenging.
And so we've talked about it. It's massive. It obviously takes a whole lot of energy to make that thing move. And that's where Raptor really starts to come in. Most advanced engine on the planet. Giant
Yes.
lightsaber.
No, that's a lightsaber and a half. You would get vaporized in an instant if you were standing in front of Raptor. So, yeah, go into a crisp less than a second. So in order to
It's a pleasant way to look at it, isn't it? That's how powerful that is. You die in an instant.
you have to advance the state of the art in every part of the rocket. That means the engines have to be better than any engine ever. The structure's got to be better than any structure ever. You've got to you've got to have a means of bringing the rocket back to the launch pad. You've got to have a fully reusable orbital heat shield, and no one has ever made a fully reusable orbital heat shield. The space shuttle, for example, required 9 months of refurbishment between flights. So the space shuttle heat shield would come back essentially partially broken and would require many months of refurbishment in order to fly again. What we're trying to achieve here with Starship is to have a heat shield that can be flown immediately. So the ship, both the ship and the booster, would be caught by the tower arms, and the booster will be placed immediately back on the launch stand, and the ship's got to orbit Earth at least once, but then could be back potentially in one orbit, but in most cases several orbits. So the ship would come back several hours later, but then be caught by the arms and placed on top of the booster. You could also have multiple ships ready so that a single booster could service 5 or more ships, so that you could be flying the booster in theory every hour.
You were paying attention to what?
This is kind of
Hello,
a
Elon.
fast speed, obviously, for the largest flying object by far ever made. But it's the reason why we catch the tower. We catch the booster with the tower arms, and the ship also will be caught with the tower arms, because that's the fastest way to get the booster and the ship back to flight. If we had instead put landing legs, which we've done before.
Yeah, it said nuke Mars.
The ship tests, we actually had landing legs that flipped down, and
There's a plan to melt the polar ice caps on Mars to help create the atmosphere by nuking it.
If you do that, if we were to do that with the booster and the ship, here we'd have to land somewhere else with the legs, then lift the rocket, stow the legs, transport the rocket back to the pad, which is very unwieldy when you've got a gigantic thing. Then it would be picked up by these tower arms and placed in the launch mount. That would delay the reusability dramatically and would add a lot of mass with the landing legs. So that's why we catch the rocket with the tower arms, because it's the same tower arms that put the rocket in the launch mount are used to catch the rocket. And that means that we can put the booster back in the launch mount in less than an hour after liftoff. In fact, the booster's going to come back very fast. Like, 5 or 6 minutes later, this booster's coming back one way or another, or not coming back. So then you really have propellant fill time, which can be brought down to about 30, 40 minutes, and that means it is theoretically possible to fly the booster again in less than an hour.
Damn.
When I think about it, it's the jet drives up to the jetway, the people get off, new people get on, and it leaves. You don't want to land the jet on a different airfield and then tow it over to the jetway. So it's just operationally simpler and faster.
I don't like that idea. No,
with the booster.
nobody does. That's why he's wearing the shirt. It was
reflown one, so awesome.
an old
Again, Starship superpowers, the whole thing.
thought, an old plan a long time ago, and he mentioned it, and everybody freaked out. So that's why he made the shirts made.
Some really spectacular re-entries on a couple of flights, hoping to get this one. for re-entry on the V2 ship. But yeah, that fully reusable heat shield, that
Oh,
thing that is just
as far
never
as
been
Musk
done
can be
before,
funny.
That's one of the things we're really.
He's not good with
looking
humor.
at.
Yeah, I mean, there are thousands of engineering.
I hope we get
challenges
views that aren't spinning
for,
tonight.
both the ship and the booster. But,
Hope it gets off the ground.
the single, maybe the single biggest one is the reusable orbital heat shield. We are confident in making a fully reusable orbital heat shield, but it will require many flights, many iterations to figure out where the weak points are in the heat shield, where we need to change the design, either strengthening the tile or changing how big the gap is between tiles, changing what's underneath the tile. There's 100 different variables that we could tweak with the ship tiles.
But you need 100 flights to do it.
Sheet shield tiles. But the only way to know exactly what we should be adjusting is to fly
So moist.
repeatedly and be able to examine the ship upon landing. And we have successfully brought the ship back through the atmosphere and achieved a soft landing multiple times. So we know that this is possible, but we have in the process shed many heat shield tiles. So we need to be able to do this without shedding heat shield tiles and do so repeatedly.
And I think what you're seeing now is the Starship. This is CG of it coming in and landing on the tower, much like the booster, but there's some additional challenges there where we need to make sure we don't scrape the tiles off as we slide along the
We
chopstick
can't
arm.
shuck the heat shield.
Don't crush the ship.
Rapid
If
reusability.
we shuck the tiles, then that's obviously going to fail the reusability test.
So ships can use the tower to land and catch like the booster here on Earth where towers are available. And for our initial landings on Mars and other planets, we'll need landing legs that deploy much like what you're seeing here with Ship 15 when we did our suborbital test to prove out the precision descent landing, which was a successful test. We actually landed to one was it we were able to actually recover it. And it's
Yes, we do need it in the
easy to
sim.
see
That'd be
rocket
fun.
garden if you visit Starbase.
Yeah, so the rocket garden that Bill mentioned.
I think
we
Gunner
have
should do the
a whole bunch
X-15
of boosters
and the
ships,
B-52.
And we'll be adding to them over time, so you can see.
Can't have one without the other.
Starship, just by driving down the highway.
We don't want to cap the scam B-52.
Reusability is key. There's some other technologies we're still looking to prove out. Really big one is going to be the on-orbit refilling. Looking to do that next year, and that's really
They're
what's
still
gonna kinda
feeling.
unlock, Starship going everywhere else, going everywhere beyond Earth, and that's something that's again never been done before.
One of the guys
Reusable.
has got a plan for
But it's
putting a
gonna be something
space
that-
telescope inside the
that
Starship. Just goes up, opens up.
Where we're going to be able to send hundreds of tons per
So it'll be a brand new telescope. It will only be,
Yeah, I
the
like to
technology
think of
will
it
only
as
be a
if we
year
get
old
to
by the time
orbit
it gets
with
up
a
there.
full cargo
Then to
bay,
service it, you just bring it back down, land it,
oxygen.
set it off to the side, service it,
We're running on
and launch it
fumes.
back up
Then we
again.
send other ships to dock, transfer propellant, and now we made our two-stage rocket look like many multi-stage rocket. And we get all of that performance. We can take that full cargo bay now wherever we want to go.
Yeah, so a crucial technology that we hope to demonstrate next year is this orbital refilling, much like aerial refueling. It's essential for being able to send significant payload to Mars. So you essentially send a ship to orbit with a few hundred tons of payload, sort of a full payload bay. But once it gets to orbit, the tanks will be mostly empty. And then you send up additional tanker ships to refill the Mars ship's tanks so that it can thrust from Earth orbit to Mars and have
Hello,
enough
test
propellant
pilot,
left
yes.
over. So this is
Welcome, sir.
Orbital refilling is also not something that's ever been demonstrated before, so that would be a brand new technology. We obviously have at SpaceX figured out how to dock repeatedly with the space station. So in a lot of ways, this is like docking. And in some ways, it's easier in that SpaceX is docking with its own craft, but no one has ever demonstrated propellant transfer in orbit, to the best of our knowledge, and so this would be propellant transfer at a very large scale. And but with full reusability and propellant transfer,
Nope, drone. Little drone zipping around.
Those are the key technologies needed for building a city on Mars, and I'm confident that the SpaceX team, which is incredibly talented, will achieve these goals.
No.
And we will be landing ships on Mars in the future and building life on Mars, building greenhouses and life on Mars, and ensuring the long-term survival of life as we know it. It's
Greenland looks
important to
nice.
note that obviously, we are effectively stewards of life here on Earth. That the other creatures cannot build spacecraft and get to other planets. So if there were to be a cataclysmic event, like a giant meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, or ultimately the sun will expand to envelop Earth and destroy all life, we know this is an undisputed fact. Then if we don't take life to another planet, all life will be destroyed. So
You had messed with the moon, yeah. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be mining the moon before too much longer. There's too much helium-3 on it.
And I mean, aside from that, there's so much that Starship unlocks by being able to do these things. Like, we'll be able to go to Mars, but there are other just transformational things by being able to take that many people, that much stuff to space for that much less money.
I mean, I think like understanding our planet better, being able to move people around the planet, make it feel smaller and more accessible. You could go anywhere on the Earth, in less than 40 minutes, basically, in terms of flight time. So I really do see Starship as being this thing that can connect us, just like Starlink connects.
I don't see the 40-minute flight-to-flight, point-to-point flights.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it
So
can do
there's
it,
really
but
nothing
how many
faster than a rocket. Really.
places are you going to allow that kind of noise?
That we know of of the fastest means of transport. So, like, you could go from LA to Sydney in less than half an hour. You could go from LA to Tokyo in less than half an hour. You could go from New York to Singapore in half an hour. Everything's roughly half an hour, basically. Some things might be 10 minutes.
I mean, yeah, sign me up for that, please. All right, cool.
Across the Atlantic in 10 minutes, no problem.
Please, yes, sign me up.
You're going 25 times the speed of sound, so that's 30 times faster than a commercial aircraft.
And it's a whole hell of a lot better view.
Yeah, it's a hell of a view.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anything else, guys? Anything else?
Well,
you're
I mean,
really excited
we
about
could
coming
say a
out?
lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go check in on the rocket
Yeah.
and get
All
on
right,
console.
we're going to go back on console to hopefully the weather supports the launch tonight. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and
Talking about the moon within a few years.
thanks for your
Tides will be all messed up. Yep.
Thanks for crashing,
Bye.
guys.
All right.
Still on attack. Yeah, you're going to have to get on there before they fill it. So, they can fill it in an hour. You got to be there when they safe it. So, and then they're all going to be offshore because no city's going to have a bomb that big in the middle of the city. So you're going to have the boat ride to and from it. So
All right, that was sweet. Let's turn our
you're probably
attention
going to be
back to the rockets.
your 30-minute flight's going to take you 3 hours.
From liftoff. As I said right at the top, weather is going to be our primary concern. We were tracking some anvil clouds. We're hopefully clearing that in the range soon. We are not currently tracking any hardware blockers to launch, but we'll continue to follow along. If anyone was following along yesterday, we actually didn't even get into our webcast as we had a leak on one of the hoses feeding into the
on-site Symphonetic starts its flights.
Through a quick disconnect, we were able to replace that this morning. Team did an incredible job, got us into an attempt today. All right, joining me now for the rest of the day is Amanda Lee.
Oh, it's not Kate.
Thanks, Dan. I'm super excited to
not
be
happy.
here. Let's just get right into it.
Hi, Amanda.
A whole
But it's not
bunch
Kate.
happened to get us to today's flight, our 10th
Okay, I'm done.
flight test. Let's look back at Starship's 9th flight test in May. That did end with a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Look at the fucking
on the
shockwaves
ship
going through
and
that.
booster.
Yeah, I'm out of here. No, Kate. I'm done.
Reflight of a super heavy booster, we saw a successful stage separation and the first ever deterministic flip, which gives us extra performance. The reused booster was flown at a much higher angle of attack to push the envelope on capabilities, which ended up causing some
Maybe she was having a bad hair day.
failure, eventually leading to a rapid unscheduled disassembly at landing burn.
Yeah, ship continued its ascent. We did see pressure drop in its main fuel tank and rise in the nose cone. We just had a camera view. We actually caught the failure on camera in the fuel pressurization system. Ship was able to complete its ascent, though, achieved its planned velocity and second stage engine cutoff.
After that, though, we did run into some issues with attitude control, which led us to skipping the payload deploy and Raptor relay demos. Starship eventually re-entered the atmosphere in an off-nominal attitude and communicated
Banana from the last flight.
approximately
Banana for
46
scale.
minutes into the flight test during entry, but of course not before one heck of a light show.
That booster rud was caused by higher than predicted forces on its structure, specifically that internal fuel transfer tube, as we were doing a higher angle of attack experiment. To fix that for remaining flights with this version of booster, including the one behind us, we're just going to lower that angle of attack. We're relaxing those forces, and that minimizes the likelihood of structural failure.
And over on the ship side, we redesigned the part of the fuel pressurization system that failed on Flight 9, put it through a more rigorous test campaign, and after subjecting it to
Starlight
flight
dishes.
stresses, it did successfully run for more than 10 times the expected service life with no damage, so great test results there. Our goal is always to make it through all of the objectives we set, but any result that teaches us more about Starship performing in the real-world environment helps us to make those targeted iterations and improve quickly.
Yeah, that's how SpaceX developed our first rocket, Falcon 1. That's the same philosophy.
Man, I can remember watching online the original Falcon 1 launches and the failures when it bumped, when it stage separated and it bumped it and knocked it back, knocked the first stage out.
Learn and repeat.
All right, so
I've seen
that
launch.
wasn't
The
the only
space
thing that
shuttle is
happened
still my
while getting
favorite.
ready
Space
for
shuttle
Flight
was
10.
fucking awesome.
Follow it along.
It was just
Mission 36
crazy,
was originally
loud, and
supposed to fly on Flight 10
bonkers, and
experienced a major anomaly during a static fire test at our Massey's test site. It was in the process of loading all of its cryogenic propellant to do a 6-engine static fire when we had a sudden energetic event that resulted in the complete loss of the Starship, and we damaged the immediate area surrounding.
oh yeah, that is a bad hair day, Kate.
The most likely root cause was
Yes, it is.
as undetectable or under-screen damage to a composite overwrapped pressure vessel, or COPV, in Starship's payload bay section. To address this probable cause, we're operating the COPVs on ship at a lower pressure and also implemented additional proofs and inspection methods.
Meanwhile, though, keep our launch schedule up, got to keep testing. The team was able to pivot and use the launch pad, the one we're on today, to do ship static fire tests.
I got to see the shuttle go over my head on its last landing ever. I wasn't at Kennedy, but it flew over my house.
Where we used a
We got to watch it.
to mount the ship.
But
Routed a whole bunch
I
of
saw it
extra hoses
launch.
and everything to load propellants. They knocked that out.
But every time the first time it landed in Florida, I was in
on the orbital
Edwards.
mount.
Yeah, very impressive turnaround there, getting to these static fires. These static fires gave us the data we needed to progress to launch and are a prime example of our engineer and technician teams
And
working
then
to build
I hope it was
creative
Columbia.
solutions to keep
No.
us charging forward to eventually bring Starship online.
And
Yeah, the first time it landed in Florida, I was actually out at Edwards Air Force Base, all excited. It landed at Florida. I was in Florida. Fucking thing landed at White Sands. One time it landed at White Sands. Was it White
Right
Sands?
now,
Yeah, I
though,
think
we
so.
are still on track.
Fucking bonkers.
We're looking about 14 minutes away. Again, our T0 is at 6:59 p.m. Central. While we still have a couple of moments, though, let's toss it over to Chris, who's getting ready to watch the launch out in California. How's it going?
And one of the Tesla robots over there.
Hey, Dan and Amanda, it's going great, and welcome everyone to the Tesla Diner here in Hollywood, California.
He used to be on NASA
For the
spaceflight.
first ever public showing of the
They actually
SpaceX
hired him
webcast.
from
It's
NASA
been great to
spaceflight.
see the webcast up here on the big screens at the diner. You know, throughout the afternoon, we've had members of the public coming up, mixing and mingling, enjoying some of the food, getting to watch some old science fiction, but also getting to watch and keep up to date with what's happening here for Starship's 10th test flight.
Those things
I
are
think I
just
can speak
creepy.
for everyone here when I say we're really looking forward to the epic views that we're going to get from in space and during atmospheric reentry, all thanks to Starlink. And speaking of Starlink, that's actually how we're coming to you live from the diner, relying on one of those many reliable connections that Starlink is able to put down across the Earth and in low Earth orbit. So for a little bit more information on the immediate future of the Starlink constellation, let's head on over to Hawthorne, where my colleague
about
Tyler
challenge. I know.
is
They both went
standing
down.
by.
Both killed
Tyler,
7.
How's it going there? And are you ready to see a rocket launch?
And that's where the whole NASA
We
needs
are
another 7
definitely ready for a
astronauts. Oh, you're
Starship
not
launch
Kate
here in
either.
Hawthorne.
Tyler?
Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Lionquist and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Starlink is SpaceX's low Earth orbit high-speed internet that's bringing connectivity to places where you least expect it, including in
Yeah,
space.
Tyler's
For today's
nice.
mission, Starship is outfitted with 4 Starlink terminals, allowing us to get live views
She could
of
say,
the
we can
ship
keep
while
her.
in orbit and all the way
Okay.
down to splashdown
Well, keep
in the
Tyler.
Indian
We're
Ocean. Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington, and that's also where we monitor the health of our entire constellation. So let's take a quick look for more on Redmond.
Oh, I know. You're fucking long ass ways away.
What a lot of people might not realize when
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a show, huh?
Operating is that actually 2/3 of the operational satellites in orbit are Starlink satellites. And then all of those Starlink satellites came from right here in Redmond.
Sure, broadcast. That'd be a good one.
We've currently got a constellation of over 8,000 satellites that are flying around in orbit. So they're working together to fill out the whole surface of the Earth, make sure everywhere can have service. So we have these laser links that are connected between the satellites, so each satellite can pass data from one to the other. That is what allows us to have these hundreds of gigabit links between satellites, and that's what allows us to connect every corner of the Earth to high quality, high speed, low latency internet. When you think about that Starlink that you have at home, the technology that's in there and that's in your antenna is very similar.
That's alien tech right there. Yeah, it is.
We use what are called phased array antennas, which is a fancy way of describing an antenna that's made up of many little antennas that work together in order to direct their energy to a specific spot on the ground without a motor.
Generally, satellite manufacturing is a very slow process. It takes people weeks or months to build a satellite. At SpaceX, we iterate very fast, and we have learned how to build satellites at the 70 sats a week rate. As we have focused a lot on production rate, we have not forgotten about our satellite reliability, which is critical to our mission.
I have no idea what she said.
If you look at the whole world and you ask, where is the satellite industry? It's right here in the USA, in Redmond, where the vast majority of satellites being built are being built right here. Starlink is a truly game-changing technology, and it's all supported by the global satellite constellation from this space here in Redmond. And we're really just getting started at the very beginning of what we want to do with Starlink.
So these are turning into a giant Starlink commercial?
Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, one of today's objectives is for SHIP to deploy Starlink simulator satellites that represent the advanced V3 satellites Starship will be launching in the future. And as you can see here, once Starship reaches a nominal orbit, the payload door will slowly begin to open to prepare for deployment. The Starlink satellites will be dispatched relatively quickly.
They cleared the cache on all those.
Like a Pez dispenser. They'll be situated in one long stack, taking up as little space as possible, allowing for an efficient deployment sequence. And once a set of Starlinks is deployed, the next set advances and deploys until they are all drifting away from Starship to prepare for their on-orbit life. Each Starlink V3 launch on Starship is planned to add 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. That's more than
I'd like to have 60 terabyte per second transfer rates. Fucking A.
So we're talking about a massive increase in performance all around, which will ultimately
Transfer
enable
everything
Starlink
on my
to serve as
friggin' servers in
communications
1
backbone
second.
for
That's
missions
fucking
to the Moon
insane.
and to Mars. But for now, we're going to turn it back over to the team at Starbase. Hey, Dan and Amanda.
Hey,
That's
thanks,
double what
Taylor.
I have on my
So,
servers
quick
in 1
update
second.
for everybody. So weather's still the main thing that we're watching. We are currently red on the range, hoping to clear that anvil rule any moment now. That's really the only thing blocking us at the moment. Vehicle's good, pads ready to go. All of our checkouts have been really smooth today after that repair work that we did this morning after we had to abort out yesterday. So we're looking at the weather. That's the thing we're really paying attention to right now.
Meanwhile, prop load is still ongoing. We started loading
From
prop
space
at
over
about
Wisconsin,
T-minus
Florida.
53 minutes, beginning with ship fuel, ship blocks.
Look at
booster
frost
fuel,
on
and
that
finally
beast.
Booster locks began loading at about T-minus 35. We'll continue loading prop until just about 3 minutes before liftoff, and ship will conclude first, and then 30 seconds later, booster will finish up.
Yeah, so bottom line, we're looking great in the vehicle. We're looking really good on the range. We're just really watching that weather. So we're still waiting to hear that that's clear.
They should hardwire
That's the
Cat 8
only
to that.
thing that could potentially stop us today.
Okay, now let's talk about Mars, since everything we do
I want
is
to talk
part
about
of our
Mars.
foundational
I want to
mission
see Elon Musk
to
say,
plan.
fuck the weather,
Each
launch.
Starship launch is to learn more and more about what's needed to make
What
life
server are they on?
multiplanetary and to improve ship to the point.
Fuck, they gotta have some serious ground equipment to be able to keep up with that kind of fucking data. That's insane.
Sending the first Starships to Mars.
Hey, is that fucking is that robot toe?
They're just gonna put minimally viable landers
Oh, these
on
days,
the surface, land right on the skirt, no legs. This will just help
Somebody
prove
trip
we can
over it and
actually get
disconnect
to
it.
Mars, focus on learning just as much as humanly possible, demonstrating what's needed for Mars transit and the ultimate landing.
Then, during our next window from 2028 to 2029, we'll attempt to land the initial infrastructure and start delivering more equipment while evaluating available resources on the planet. And we'll also have Optimus on board for the ride, designed to do the initial heavy lifting.
Beyond that, by 2030, 2031, as
Funny.
these windows open up roughly every 26 months, we'll continue to increase the amount of payload we're sending.
That's what I was wondering, robot toe.
Building out more infrastructure, mining resources, generating propellant for ships to come back from Mars. By 2033, we want to double the amount of payload per ship as we just get closer and closer to building a self-sustaining presence on the red planet.
Yeah, very exciting missions ahead, and these first missions to Mars are going to be crucial to setting up what we'll need for humans to eventually inhabit the planet, and we won't be doing this alone. The Italian Space Agency and SpaceX recently signed a first-of-its-kind agreement to carry Italian experiments on the first Starship missions to deliver customer payloads to Mars. These payloads will include a plant growth experiment, a weather monitoring station, and a radiation sensor to
That
gather
Alexa,
scientific
Siri,
data
Google.
during Starship's
Their
approximately
friends hanging out.
6-month interplanetary coast phase from Earth to Mars and also on the Martian surface.
It's a really exciting vision. To make it happen, we're going to need to launch a whole lot more. We're going to need a whole lot of people that are going to come and help us build this. So it makes it really fun for me to come to work. I know you build these things. It's got to be
100%.
fun for you.
Yep, very exciting.
All right.
Looks like we're about 5 minutes from Starship's 10th flight test. Range is still looking good, still have an eye on the weather at the moment, and prop load is also continuing on both stages of Starship.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up real quick. So we are we're almost closed out on the booster. We're about 90% on fuel, about 90% on LOX, just a bit below. So again, we're going to continue filling for about the next 2 minutes. Once
You know
we're
how to dump a
completely
bunch
done
of
with
AI
that,
robots on
we're
Mars
about
to set it
11
up? Yeah,
million pounds
that's who's going to do all the work.
propellant on
Until we
board
get
those
there.
stages of Starship.
They're going to have
So
the habitats are going to be built by the robots first.
really big rockets really fast away from South Texas. So once we get close, all of our ground systems will prepare themselves. They do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear out all of those feed lines, push back into the prop farm, and just prepare the area around it. We're doing our final guidance and navigation checks right now. The automated flight safety system is
AI
about to
robots
get
are going to
armed.
build all the
Really
early
preparing
stuff.
the vehicle to get ready to go. I'm not sure if we passed it already, but we do a final thrust vector control checkout. The TVC will wiggle the engines that we use to actually steer the rocket itself. Everybody's favorite topic, if we need to hold, that hold would come
40
at
seconds.
T-minus 40 seconds. We can hold if we're still waiting for the weather to clear, which is our big item today, or if any other last-minute issues pop up.
They'll become self-aware,
Only hold there if we have
colonize
issues.
Mars, and be
Still waiting to hear
build a
confirmation
nuke and send it our
that
way.
cleared. That's the
Oh, look at that.
only thing it looks like would hold us today. Here's the business end of a super heavy.
Now, once we pass that T-minus 40 second mark that Dan was talking about, a number of events are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems come up to flight pressure, and ship will switch over to internal power. After that, the quick disconnect arm lockout is removed in preparation for retraction, which occurs shortly after T0. And once we pass that T-minus
Yeah,
40
I
second
know it.
mark, we do still have the ability to then recycle the count under certain
I agree.
conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened, and if we can proceed again back to liftoff.
Yeah, we hope that doesn't happen, but it has previously.
Yeah,
I
that
promise
camera
not to
probably-
psych anybody at this time.
Probably a cheap throwaway
We do have
GoPro.
some kind of points of no return.
Stick it in there and
Once the water
got it in a big housing with a
that
big
flame
thick glass
diffuser
cover
and
and
launch mount, that happens
still
just
fries it
little
after a second or
2
two.
minutes, 10 seconds. If that triggers and then we hit a hold, that would be a scrub for the day. We have to refill the water tanks, can't turn it off, got to refill prop, all that stuff. So that's kind of the major watch item. You'll see a big splash under the launch mount, and if we see that go and then you hear a hold, that would mean that we're done for the day. But not.
Oop. Either push the wrong button or you got bad news. Somebody push the button to shut them off. There we go.
Yeah, I didn't disappear. Sorry, everybody. Listening in as the flight director for today is going through some of the final checks. We are still red on the range for weather. We are closing out prop load right now, though.
Yeah, as we
come
wait
on.
to hear what's going on, we can just quickly review some of the test objectives for today. On
Fucking
the
fly it.
side, we're of course
Cares a little bit about a little bit of lightning.
Of those Raptor engines
Test to see how
power
good
on
it is in
ascent
lightning
ahead of hot
conditions.
staging. And once that stage separation occurs, booster will perform that directional flip before the boost back burn. One of the interesting experiments we're doing today is upon our landing burn, which typically ends with those 3 center engines lit. We're going to be intentionally shutting one of those off and instead
I don't want to go for another night of this.
This is just to kind of give us an idea of what it would look like if we ever had an engine out scenario.
Yeah, using our time to really push the envelope. And so at this point, we are fully closed out on our prop load. Coming up on a minute and 20, we are still red on the range for weather. So at this rate, looking likely we will hold it T-minus 40 to see if
Musk could override, so just light the bitch.
That's the one blocker we currently have to a launch
Yeah,
today.
exactly. They need to start launching more when it's in the lightning range, because you're going to get bad weather. You can't do point to point on the U.S. if you can't launch in lightning.
All right, we did just get confirmation, so we are expecting to hold at T-minus 40. We are still red on the range for weather, so look for the clock to pause in just a couple seconds.
There it goes. Pause.
And pause. So we'll hang out here for a couple of minutes. We do have until the end of the window. We won't have 30 minutes of hold time to hang out, as we can't. We're essentially not replenishing prop on the vehicle at this point, so we have to keep a close eye on things like temperatures inside the tanks. We can only hold for so many minutes before things start to warm up.
How much it costs, how much they lose in value just emptying that back. Because they got to get a certain amount of boil off.
We're holding here at T-minus 40 seconds. We reviewed our test objectives for booster, but why don't we chat ship for a second? After stage separation, ship will continue
Starlink lost its satellite.
to the planned suborbital trajectory. Once it reaches there, we'll undergo SECO, or where the second stage shuts off its engines. We're hoping to deploy 8
Hey, granted, that thing's a giant bomb and you don't want lightning, but
after Starlink V3.
lightning will follow the path of least resistance, which is around the outside, not the inside, so it should be fine. Just like you don't get hit by lightning inside a jet.
While in space, and that will occur ahead of re-entry, where we'll also be testing multiple experiments, including missing tiles, metallic tiles, and intentionally loading those vehicles' flaps. And then hopefully we'll conclude today's test flight with a soft splashdown.
I think a liquid oxygen, liquid methane is even more expensive than fucking gasoline.
We did just get a quick update, so the range is fully green.
Range is green.
Is still red.
Weather's red. Fuck you.
Its attached anvil rule, which essentially there's an anvil cloud that's too close to our launch site, and it needs to move further away.
Launch anyways.
Until it moves further away, we can't lift off. So we are expecting an update in a couple of seconds potentially. Again, we can hang out here for several minutes. We're not actively replenishing prop.
Well, no, I don't want to go to the fucking moon.
And getting an update now.
I would go, but not like I want to go. I wouldn't turn it down.
And we're getting a weather update right now.
Got Elon Musk saying, fucking fudge the weather.
Team's looking at it. Again, we're just tracking
Fudge
this
the weather,
anvil
fudge the
rule
weather.
still. It's our only blocker today. Range is green, vehicle is green. Weather is currently red. All right, and sad voice coming in. We did just hear that we are still going to be red. So at this point, we are essentially transitioning this to be a wet dress. So
wet dress, we're
is
done.
when we fully load prop on board the rocket. So we
Nope,
are going to
no
see
fly
the clock
today.
probably start up again. But once they get down to 10 seconds, they're going to abort out, and then we will be done for the day.
Oh, bullshit. Come on, fucking light the candle. So what if it's
Not
close?
going to launch today. Weather got in our way, but you can only control so
let's
much.
go.
You can't always control the weather. Can't control
You're
the
gonna
weather.
test this shit.
Control
Test it in the
weather. We're
fucking
not-
lightning. Send it.
Wouldn't that
Full
be nice?
send.
So we are seeing the clock rolling, but again, we're going to get down to T-minus 10 seconds, and we're going to see that kick back out, and then we're going to start offloading all of the propellant that's on board the rocket today. So
Great.
if you are just tuning in,
Yeah, there went
yeah,
back to
it's not
40.
going. There it goes. Back to T-minus 40. So again, we essentially turned today into a wet dress, so today still ended up being a test.
Still learning something as always.
Yeah, still
Fuel
learning
loading sim.
something. We were
Yeah,
able
about
to,
it.
to fix the issue that kind of hit us yesterday, where we had a leaky hose that was feeding liquid oxygen into the ship, but we were able to fix that, but weather got us today. So no launch today. We do have a phenomenal logistics team, though, so we should hopefully be able to replenish prop everything. We don't have to refill all the water tanks because we didn't fire off the deflector, but we'll have to reload the prop. So very good chance that we can try again tomorrow. We'll obviously update everybody online.
Oh well.
And
We tried again.
man, sorry we couldn't go today. Don't worry, we'll probably go tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today. And we
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today. No Kate.
Go for lunch.
So obviously follow our
Maybe Kate will be
account
tomorrow.
on X at SpaceX. We'll share information as soon as
I'm
it becomes
grumpy.
available. We'll also be
Me
updating
too.
the web
We didn't get
at
Kate.
SpaceX.com.
Taylor
Thanks
wasn't
for
bad,
joining us
but
today.
she's no Kate.
Exciting countdown. We're able to get off the ground, but
Hey, Mojave, aye.
shot tomorrow. Thanks everybody.
I miss Kate too. Taylor wasn't bad, but I definitely miss Kate. So we're gonna go ahead and shut the music off here. We're gonna pause this, and I'm just gonna call it here. Myself. My Kate needeth too. You need your Kate and Taylor too. There you go. Need your Kate and Taylor too. Taylor wasn't bad. Yes, I'm a sexist pig. I don't care. I'm a straight male. I'm allowed to drool. Huh, Sadie. Alright guys, sorry it was another bust. Hopefully tomorrow. I can do tomorrow's. I can't do any Thursday or Friday, but tomorrow. I can fire it up for tomorrow again. And we'll try from there. And if it's not tomorrow, we'll do a flight. If they don't schedule, if it's scheduled for whatever. But we'll try. We'll do something tomorrow. Alright everybody, have a great night. Thanks for popping by. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.